Cancer, the moon is in Taurus, and she's wanting you to check in with yourself, to get grounded. Are you feeling safe and secure in yourself? How have your values shifted? And really asking you to really just kind of sit in the present moment and see how even emotions are being stored in your body there, Cancer. Stay tuned to find out how you can work with these energies. But before we jump into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes and shares. Your support really is just provides me just a wonderful foundation there, Cancer. It really feels like home. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot cards based on our ruler here, the good old moon. This is Rhonda. And I'll talk about what sign she likes to make surprise appearances every now and again. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in. She's about to hog up all the screen time. And when she's going to avoid, of course, there's all of those lunar shenanigans. Almost got off track there, Cancer. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. That one felt really dramatic. Alright, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. I don't even know if any actual words came out. Crystals. I have to listen back to that. Feeling lovely. We're just feeling good, Cancer. Just great energy all around. We're just getting a little silly. And Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, happy Sunday. I'll give you a guess who rules over Sundays. The sun is associated with Sundays, and this is a really great day just for the day to really kind of tune into your health there, Cancer, just to see how you're doing. The sun is associated with our life, our vitality. That's the energy that fuels the chart. So, and with the sun being in Cancer, this applies for everybody. This is really, I feel like, a great time to tune into that emotional health. I'll tell you what, I know this as we're getting closer to my birthday, and I'm going through a Uranus transit right now, and it's been a lot of emotions. The moon in Pisces, that was something else. And Aries I was the one. So it's been very interesting. And so I feel with all of these changes, with all of the, the sun in Cancer doing Cancer things, this is a great time to tune into the flow of that cycle there, Cancer. This is a great energy too, when you're thinking about scheduling like maybe doctor's appointments and stuff, see if maybe you can get in during the hours of the sun. And there are different apps and different websites that you can utilize that keep track of that stuff, Cancer, because there is a whole mathematical thing with that. So if that's something that floats your boat, it goes in. But there are some tools that you can utilize to find the stuff and play around with these times there, Cancer. I like to, and I've been kind of slacking on my Venus days here lately. I usually work out on Mars days, and then like during Mars hours, and those kind of vary. But it's as you can see, I've been needing to get back in queue. But I do like getting in the flow of that stuff. It can be really cool, kind of help you, especially if you're feeling kind of all over the place. It can really kind of help get you grounded. Maybe you happen to catch yourself during a Saturn hour. You're like, oh, okay, let's crack down on things. So just some ways to explore with these different days and hours there, Cancer. Now, depending on still depending on when you're watching this, the moon is in Taurus, and she's going to be entering into Taurus at about 5 a.m., and that's going to be Pacific time. And she is in a waning crescent phase, or what you may also hear referred to as a balsamic moon there, Cancer. And when the moon is in Taurus, she loves being in Taurus almost as much as she loves being at home. This is a sign where you'll hear about dignities and exaltations. This is where the moon is exalted, so she's most celebrated. Her energy works very strongly here. She really does well in Taurus, which is a very feminine energy. It's a very receptive sign. It's one of security, one of that sense of self-worth. And so what I feel when the moon comes into Taurus, and one thing I wanted to mention, first thing, we talk about the financial things and the groundedness, maybe even the stubbornness that comes up with Taurus. But I wanted to bring up too the beauty that comes up with Taurus. Because Taurus is ruled by Venus just like Libra is. Libra doesn't get to hog all the beauty, just like how Sagittarius doesn't get hog all the luck. Taurus is beautiful in a very different way from Libra. It is a more earthly beauty. There's a sensuality that comes with Taurus. Taurus is sexy. Taurus is that energy of those earthly pleasures. This is really a great time for you if you've been feeling all over the place, like I said, to get yourself, find things that help you feel grounded. Maybe this is drawing yourself up a bath. Maybe this is making your tea. You know what? When I was talking about that moon in Pisces, I had a lot of emotions come up. And one thing that I just listened to is like, okay, what did I need at that moment? Like if someone was like, okay, do you want to go for a walk? And I was like, no, you know what? I just want some tea right now. And I just need to be with this for a moment. And this is something where anything to help you feel like you're feeling safe in your body, when we're talking about the moon in Taurus, so this could be setting up your, maybe you're needing to clean up your space. Maybe maybe you've been in kind of a rut, and this can help get the energies moving again. Because the thing with Taurus is that it is such a receptive sign that you want to see where you're holding things in Taurus and where you can really get stuff moving, this is like when Luna's in Taurus, this is like, okay, we're tilling the land a little bit, we're going through a cycle here. So I feel this can be one to just maybe cook yourself a nice meal, or maybe invite someone over to kind of like, maybe you got a friend who's a great chef and you're just like, hey, if I provide the ingredients and the things and maybe some wine, you could just help. You could just kind of sit here and we can just kind of talk about life. Oh, thank you guys. And that's one thing I feel like with Taurus. Surround yourself with some music, some really calm music with Taurus. This could be where I would think even just like maybe even painting. If you play an instrument, you might even be able to discover a lot. If you've been having a lot of fixed things, or if you've been feeling kind of just stuck in something. I also feel with this energy that this is kind of assessing how we're in the waning crescents, the waning phases of the cycle. We're thinking about letting go, and especially during the waning crescent, we're kind of assessing our values, and that's an important thing for Taurus. So we're looking at the stuff like, have the things that you've been taking in, how have they been going through your body, and more so not necessarily through the body, but how have they been received, because I'm thinking about very kind of, when we're thinking about the moon in Taurus, this is very Six of Pentacles energy. And that's all about this give and take. So it's like looking at maybe because Taurus, one thing they're associated with is food. Maybe looking at how foods have been sitting with you, and when I'm thinking about this stuff, this is not necessarily looking for things that are wrong. It's just like making sure that things are just like flowing well for you. Because I feel like if we're looking for something, we'll find something. But it's just more so just like, maybe my dad, the things I've been eating lately, it's been making me feel a little sluggish. Or maybe it's just been a little boring. Maybe I've just been eating the same old things, and let's try to switch that. That's something I can get stuck in a rut with sometimes. I've had to change. And one thing I found to combat that, if that is something that resonates with you, one little tip. What I like to do, instead of like, I used to put like specific vegetables of what I want to get, and it's just like, Justin, this list is obnoxious. Let's delete some of the stuff, and I just put fruits and veggies. And then this way, when I get there, I know these are the more mundane problems, and I appreciate those problems. I'll just like go, okay, what am I feeling? What do I want? What sounds good in that moment? Because maybe I don't want potatoes again. And yes, I do. But maybe I'll try a sweet potato this time. Or maybe I'll work with yams. Or I think that's still sweet potatoes. So you see, we're branching out. Maybe I'll get a whole radish. But these are the kind of things we're playing around with. We're seeing how maybe we're changing. And just, again, with Taurus, we're very present with Taurus. So And the reason I'm bringing up all this kind of receptivity and tuning into the body, because Taurus is one that is very associated with the material realm. But now the moon isn't just in her emotional phase, she's feeling, her senses are heightened too, her sense of touch, her sense of smell, taste, all of that. So how's your environment? Do you have a lot of offensive smells, and not necessarily from your home, but maybe there's a lot of, you know, maybe you live near a busy intersection. There's a lot of exhaust and things that are going on. Maybe they're just looking into Taurus. I feel like is about investments. Maybe we're looking to getting like an air purifier, because I get you if we can't move and stuff. I get that, but it's more so like how can we beautify our environment to make it more hospitable for us, to make it more at peace, to make things feel kind of, take care of this sanctuary here. So that's just some things I feel like to think about when the moon is in Taurus, especially in this phase. Allow yourself to kind of let go. But this also too is a phase to just kind of kick back, relax, do some self-care, reconnect with yourself, show yourself compassion. You didn't know what you know till you know. So, and look at areas where you two maybe have been a little stubborn, the moon in Taurus. And this is something too, the moon in Taurus, I remember reading, and this is not medical advice or anything, but I've read where with the moon in Taurus, this could be where you can retain a lot of water. So that's something to pay attention to. And also one thing, and hopefully you've been liking this, because one thing I wanted to start to add on to these things, to some things that if you happen to have your moon in Taurus, some things to think about, that water retention thing, because that's something I remember reading in the medical astrology. Is so fascinating. I actually found out something with Cancer energy that really kind of spoke. I always have songs in my head, it's aggressive. And there was actually a little mention about that with Cancer. And I was just like, I resonated with a lot of the Cancer things, oddly enough. Well, not oddly enough, I'm a Cancer sun. But it was just kind of surprising to see what resonated. So that was one thing to think about. But with the moon in Taurus, that is one, I feel that moon, I feel, wants security, wants to feel like things are in order, And I would say, like, if you can establish a sort of routine, I feel like that could be any sort of structure that you can get in your life. Make sure that maybe you're walking every day, maybe you're tending to a garden every day, maybe you're, keeping up with the home space every day, maybe you have a project that you're working on, maybe you have an instrument that you play, something that brings you peace, making sure to check in with how do you value yourself, do your relationships reflect what your self-worth? Does your job reflect the things that you value, that you feel that you're worth? Really paying attention to that, because you'll feel off when those moon needs aren't being met. That's when you start feeling off and things get out of hand. And this, it can be too, like when you're feeling a lot of fluctuations and stuff, tending to that moon can help you with that. I find, and when I'll talk about that more so tomorrow, but the moon sign, paying attention to your moon sign can be a great way. That's where you're wanting to be nurtured. That's where it's a very personal part of your birth chart. This is the chart that really people get to know, like when they're really getting to know you. So yeah, I would say, if you're, moon in Taurus, I know actually a couple of moon in Taurus, and I do feel like this is a very artistic placement, very intuitive. Very, very intuitive placement. And I feel like it doesn't matter which sign. It's fascinating. I've seen it on an earth and on an air sign. And those are very, very curious, especially on the earth sign. That was very curious to see how that manifests. So yeah, don't sleep on how receptive you are, and pay attention to the environment, pay attention to the amount of foods that you're eating. Watch out for like very rich foods and things. Make sure to, I find, and this is not medical advice, but this working with, like, if you eat a lot of like rich foods, I find like fennel can be a great thing to kind of break that up, and maybe even having some like chamomile, even something simple like that to work with your energy. So just a couple little oddball things to kind of throw in there to hopefully work with your moon placement. And I love, if you have your moon in Taurus, leave some stuff down in the description box below. How do you work with your moon sign? And I would love to hear that. But let's talk about one more thing, and then we'll get into the tarot. Let's talk about the Void of Course. That's going to be happening on Mars Day, Tuesday, the 2nd of July. Oh, and Cancer, if you had a birthday that just happened that came up there, you got one that's coming up. Cancer, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy. This is going to make sense. Is it going to do it? so not good. There it is, balloons for you, all the balloons for you. So I feel like that happens often. But yes, I hope you've been enjoying your birthday season. Hopefully, it hasn't been like too much of an emotional roller coaster for you. We have been in a lot of water, but hopefully, even if it has been a bit of an emotional one, hopefully you've been surrounded by loved ones. And no, I'm sending all the love out there for you. But the moon is going to be going void course on the 2nd, and that's going to be from 8:42 a.m. to 8:49. And the void, of course, is when the moon forms her final aspect with the celestial body, and then she's just roaming the void. It's a great time for meditation, for doing some deep breathing, from reflecting on the things that happened in the previous sign while the moon was in Taurus. How did some things come up, about what you value, or maybe you're thinking about, maybe you're making some different financial changes, maybe letting go of some things, maybe we're noticing that. I remember when I had quit smoking cigarettes, for example. It's just like, oh, so this is where all my money went. It's just like things along those lines. Or yeah, you know what, did I get enough rest, or maybe I need to make more time to rest, so that's what the void, of course, can be about. And also the aspect that forms that last aspect that she forms kind of flavors the void of course time. And granted, I know this is a bit of a short one, but I have an idea of how I want to work with this stuff on the next lunar cycle. So I think this will be an easier way too, because the void of course these can be so short. It's just like you could just let that one just kind of pass by. But she was forming a sextile with Neptune. And when you're thinking about the sextiles, those create opportunities. And when we're talking about with the moon and Neptune, I would feel like that's really an opportunity, one, to really kind of tune in. What did you get from this time in Taurus? And really kind of feel that, really kind of see where certain emotions are kind of coming up in the body. Maybe you think about something, you're feeling something, and then it comes up in your arms, or maybe you're feeling a lot. You get this anger that goes to your chest, or maybe to your face, or just paying attention to that. These signs can be very helpful, when you're trying to move through this stuff. So just something I feel like to kind of pay attention to when you're working with that void of course energy. I feel like that it reminds us too, to just, even though we can be just so go all the time, and the moon is busy, she reminds us to take time to rest as well. And you'll see when we get into this next lunar cycle how much actual void of course time we can have during a lunar cycle. But in Cancer, if you want to know how this energy is working more personally with you in your chart, you want to see how the moon is moving through different phases, or you want to work with your lunar return. Actually, my lunar return will be coming up on the 2nd here soon, so that's exciting. But if you want to work with your lunar return, see what are your emotional needs for each month. That can be very important. That can be very helpful so that you're not just like kind of like, because life can, sometimes feel like you're just going through this random cycle here, but there's a lot more order to this than you would think, and going with that intention can be very helpful there, Cancer. Or we can go over your, especially since it's Cancer season, we can go over your solar return chart, see what are your intentions for the year. I've been kind of analyzing mine. We'll see. I got some ideas of what we're going to get, what I'm going to get doing, but it's going to be an interesting year. But it can get you where you can get in the mindset for that, to get prepped for like, okay, like, is this one where, okay, I may need to prioritize a little more rest, or, oh, I'm like really probably going to need to kind of bring it a little bit. It can get you sort of braced for what's to come, what areas in your life you can expect some changes, where you may see some fluctuations, where you may see some growth. So if that's anything that resonates with you there, Cancer, you want to have some questions, want to talk a bit more about this, I have a link down in the description box below to book a call with me if you want to, do like a consultation call. It's totally free. And we can just kind of discuss like what you're going through, what you're looking for, kind of get an idea what program would potentially work. I have a 3-month and a 6-month thing. It's fantastic there, Cancer. Really just kind of getting stuff built up there. So definitely check that out. And you can also find that stuff on my LinkedIn and on my Instagram as well there, Cancer. But let's go ahead and get into your general energy of the day. And it's not gender specific reading, Cancer, so keep that in mind. And no, Cancer, you have all this protection here. You got the protection card, Cancer. And I like that this comes up when we're talking about with Taurus, because I had mentioned about that Taurus, a big thing, and that's why I think the moon gets, while the moon and Taurus and like Taurus and Cancer energy can get along so well, is because there is that common ground for wanting that sense of security. Taurus wants that material security, that physical security. Cancer wants that and of course we want the material too, and everybody wants emotional security, but that's just more prominent in those signs. But both want that sense of feeling protected, at feeling, and I feel like that first starts here. You are ground zero, and so I feel that when we're kind of assessing things, and if there are areas where we're not feeling safe, maybe this is a relationship, maybe this is an environment, maybe like a living situation, a work situation. It's just like, what are some resources, this Taurus energy, that we can maybe call upon to get to the state where we are feeling a bit more protected. And I know that circumstances are always all different and unique to stuff, but I feel that this journey isn't just one that's meant to just to keep you in this state of just stuck. It's not. And there are times, and I say that lightly because I have my Sun, Chiron, Mercury, South Node, all that stuff, all conjunct, or all that stuff in the 12th house. So these are things I think about like quite often, and that I battle with, and they always bring up a lot of emotions, and but I feel that there is this sense of protection that is going on, that we are more protected than we think. I think about a period of time, like really when I was really kind of in a real kind of dark period. I was just really just kind of drinking just like a whole lot, and really reckless, just like driving, and just I'd wake up in my truck, and it's just like, like thankfully, like no one was harmed or anything, but it's just like I think about those times. It's just like, yeah, I was like really protected then, even when that was a period of time where I had felt really forsaken, just a whole lot of things. And I feel that there are times, even when we're going through like whatever present, kind of tough, and that's just past stuff I'm thinking about, but then even when I think about when I'm going through current things, there is this sense of protection, even if I feel like even if there's not like an entire understanding, there's something to this. And I feel like we all at a level kind of feel this type of energy here. It's almost giving me like a 7 of Wands. There are times where, we're kind of going through the thing. It's like, well, where's the protection? And then we go through, and then we kind of come through the cycle. It's just like, I got you. I don't know. Like it's, because I'm getting an energy too. Like if you're wanting to make a decision about something, I feel like it's even saying that you're protected in this. It may, situations may come up in the moment that feel that they're against you, but really there's something bigger that's happening here. I feel like there's this question of, and I remember hearing someone ask or say this once, and I feel like there is, of course, let me get some tarot on this Cancer and get some details with this. But the phrase I had heard, it was just like, how would you move if knowing that you are divinely protected? That And I don't feel like it's necessarily not just like just taking just jumping at any old thing, but when something feels right, when you're just like, okay, I have to do this thing, like, okay, I'm gonna put out that application, or I'm gonna go to that interview, or I'm gonna go talk to this person, or I'm going to break this thing off, or whatever this thing is, like, Thank you, guys. Let's see what's going on here, Cancer. Cancer, syncing up with the energies. I love it. Here's that 6 of Coins I was talking about, the Moon in Taurus, and the Justice card. And Libra, we were talking about Libra too. In reverse, And then you have the Ten of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and then the Hermit upright here, Cancer. Now the Knight of Wands is this very passionate knight. This is one, the Knight of Wands, you see that she's just going. She's cooking, she's ready to get things moving. And it's interesting. I feel like even though this Ten of Swords is here, it's almost like even though there may have been times where you felt like life has betrayed you, because this Ten of Swords is of the cards I think I have. This is the most intense Ten of Swords here, and this talks about the story of Sedna, and it's actually kind of interesting. We're gonna talk about that for a brief moment. I haven't done a lot of research into Sedna, but she's this asteroid or this that the whole story behind it, she's in this boat with her father. There's a whole story behind that. I think he either sells her off to some kind of king or something to get some money, and then they were trying to escape, and then to save himself, he pushes her over. She tries to get back on. He cuts her fingers off. It's a whole thing. But then her fingers become the sea creatures of the ocean, and she rules the depths of the ocean. She rules like this deep betrayal, and it's a whole. She's in there with that like dark moon Lilith, and like really kind of the betrayed or the betrayed feminine. It's a real intense energy. But I bring that up, that even though that we all have this Ten of Swords, these moments where we felt betrayed by life, kind of cut off by things, I feel this Knight of Wands is still moving. It's not necessarily you need to come busting out the doors, but I do feel that with the Justice being in reverse, if there's nothing that's being moved, then there's nothing that's going to come out. Especially this kind of the Six of Coins Justice card type of energy, because the Justice card for me can be a card of cause and effect. And this is giving me even too. It can be an energy of feeling like maybe things have been unfair. Things have been this, and Cancer. That's like we can talk about that till the sun goes down. But I feel like this is where the Hermit. Look at that. This is that. I feel this Hermit is needing to kind of reflect on, if we're not making a move, possibly I feel maybe because maybe we don't want to get into another relationship or have troubles trusting people because of betrayals and things, which is totally fair. This is just thinking of an example. Then let's look back at that relationship. What were some things that were coming up? And then maybe instead of like, okay, maybe I moved a little bit too fast. Maybe there were these things that I missed. Maybe the person did completely say this. But then now I kind of come with, I don't give more than what I get, and then it just kind of brings it adds this level of discernment. Because I feel this protection could maybe get to where like the Cancerian defense might go into overdrive and feel. Because just as lovely as it is to feel that sense of love and joy in things, you have to put yourself out there. You have to allow yourselves to feel that. And in that, there are going to be things that hurt in between getting to those, or even during that state of love. And I feel that I'm getting almost like and this is more of like a feeling. I feel like it's more like I'm almost getting like for some, it's like maybe we've even kind of walled ourselves off for something from here. That's interesting. Let's get a little bit more on this, Cancer. And maybe I feel like there's even this energy of making sense of something. I feel like there's not a need to rush with this. If you're kind of, because this is giving me even like a processing energy. You know, really kind of what am I getting from this? Like, what is the point of going through this, whatever this Ten of Swords is right now? You know, and let me get some more, because I'm even getting like a Strength card energy that's maybe trying to come from this possibly. But let's see what's going on here, Cancer. All right, Cancer. Thank you, guys. See what's going on here. Okay, so you have the Two of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the World card here, Saturn. And then you have the Five of Cups and the Eight of Swords in reverse. And I don't know if I mentioned the Hermit, that is Virgo energy. All right, we're going back to the Hermit for a moment. But there's this Eight of Swords, Five of Cups to the Hermit feels like, for some, I'm almost getting like a time to come out into the light a little bit. I feel like the sun has maybe we've been waking up and just kind of seeing, like, I almost feel like it's been like just kind of stuck in this, when the sun's gonna rise. How do I put it? Like, not stuck in like a forever night, but it just seems like things have been just on the night side, and I feel like there's just wanting to bring in on a little more daylight. And this could be just maybe even something as simple as just bringing in a little more light into your space, possibly. Maybe it could be just getting some fresh air. Maybe it's opening some windows, you know, depending on how the weather's going, or maybe you're just taking a step outside for a little bit. But there is something here about, there's this, I'm getting this thing of like this, like you can love again, possibly. You know how we can have something where you go through like a breakup, for example, and then you just like, oh, now never ever again. And then, you know, you can love again. It may not necessarily be a relationship, but maybe it's like with a dog, or maybe with a cat, or maybe with a hamster, or maybe it's with nature. Maybe you fall in love with or maybe you become this humanitarian. I don't know where that's going. Let's scratch that. But I do feel that there is something that is wanting to come to an end with the world, something that maybe you've been walling. Again, this protection card could feel like maybe you've been walling yourself out from something, and now there are some other options that are maybe opening up for you, you know, allowing yourself to come out of a space here, a state of where, because the Five of Cups can be a very, a lot of emotions coming up with that one. This can be a card of disappointment. This could be a card of, yeah, just getting just really kind of stuck in something. And the energy, I feel like it's needing to move, you know. And I feel like we've been like this Eight of Swords, you know, that can be usually a card of kind of keeping yourself in a self-imposed prison. But the nice thing about that prison is that you built it up, Cancer. You can knock that down. You've made the keys to that. No one else can get you down. You've built up and that's the thing with Cancer energy. I feel that Cancer can create this really elaborate defense when it doesn't want to feel, when it doesn't want people to get in its space. Cancers can be ninjas. Cancers can be, I find at first it's like, it's a little, I was reading something about that. It's like it can, and I feel like it described it very well, where it's like at first it may come across as a little shy, a little reticent at first, but then, you know, I feel it's like as it went into this whole elaborate story, but it was pretty accurate. It's like as the Cancer evolves and matures, they can create like a whole functioning 3D hologram. It was just really funny how they were talking about that. But that's what I feel like. It's like, and I feel like it's like you can allow yourself to move on for something, maybe even to feel something. You're safe to maybe even to feel something, to know that, to get into, I feel like a connection with maybe even something just as deep with yourself again, and make a peace with something. And in that, I feel like this Three of Wands, it's like this is this internal journey that could be kind of going on here. But know that you're protected through this thing, that you got this, and that, it's very interesting, Cancer. Let's get some advice from Venus. Let's see. That's right, Queen Wazley is he. Hold on, Cancer. Let's get the rest of this. Oh, how lovely. You guys. Alright, that's a bit here, Cancer. So you have here the Three of Cups and the Moon in reverse. That's Pisces. And you have the Queen of Wands, the Three of Coins, the Eight of Coins, and then look at the bright old sun here. Look at Ra chilling on the wherever he's chilling. I thought I had something that came. Let's switch back over. So with this Queen of Wands here, I feel that she is interesting. So I feel like the Three of Wands is getting. I'm getting it with like the Six of Coins here. I feel like that she's putting. For some, it feels like that we're putting our energy into things that kind of light you up, that you can feel safe to follow that it's like I feel like something here with the moon is like maybe you've told yourself that you can be something, but I feel this protection is like you got this, because I feel like you're the Eight of Coins is a busy card. This is the sun in Virgo, and this is getting things moving. This is figuring out the details, figuring out a game plan, and this could be where maybe you are in this. I'm getting a couple of things with this. So with just the Three of Coins, there could be this looking at external resources, looking for some help, with whatever this is. Maybe it's finding help. Maybe it's helping to find the right words to ask someone on a date, or maybe you're going to pitch an idea to a company or something, and you need someone to role play or whatever that's looking like. But that's one thing with the Three of Coins. Now with these two together, it's giving me this energy of almost like our relationship with Capricorn. It's this maybe needing to look at look to the Capricorn side. There's something here that's like very kind of watery, kind of like a lot of emotions involved in it. And I think that something would make more sense if we come at it from a grounded approach. It reminds me of, I remember talking with, I may have mentioned this story before. I remember I remember working with this couple, and the girl, she's a Capricorn sun, and the guy, he's a Cancer sun. And she was like, I love him, that he reminds me to just kind of like, hey, be mindful of how things land, and just like in tuning into her own feelings, and just like, like, how are you feeling about this? Like, no, that's like, if it's okay to do this, like, that's effed up. You don't need to blah, 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 blah. But also, she said for him, when he gets to internal, it's just like, well, what does that have to do with right now? What does that okay, well, that happened, and we've already resolved this. So are you still feeling some things about that? Well, that sounds like something personal. I can't, it's a lovely balance. I feel when you get into those that kind of tap into that access, and that's what. I don't know, that's why I feel like it's kind of happening with that Three of Cups to the Three of Coins here. Like, something is more simpatico, something is, or at least there's an invitation to, I feel like, try to come at something from a bit more, and I feel like coming with that approach just brings some more clarity with something. Maybe even if this is like closing, maybe this is a conversation about maybe closing out a relationship, for example. Maybe there's been a lot of emotions in this thing. It's been kind of back and forth, for example. We've been doing stuff maybe for protecting the kids, possibly even, just for an example. And now it's just like, we can do this thing, but maybe we're just going to have to, it may be even better for them to do this. And it's just something that I feel is kind of coming up there. But the sun is even giving me a kind of like looking back type of energy. It's like that Queen of Wands is this kind of, that's that Aries energy. It's going for something. You know, there's this like just kind of trusting that intuition. And then even if it was a bit of a rocky start, you know, we may have had to put in some work, you know, there may have been, but it just seems that it's just giving me that, this understanding that, you see how this girl's kind of crying here. She's kind of, you know, she's toiling, she's doing all these things, but that's interesting. It's like these swans are looking these work, you know, it's like this, the things are going to come together. It's like, listen, you're not just doing this stuff in vain. It's almost like what I'm getting. That's very interesting, Cancer. I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. A little something to think about. But if you like the Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share this, Cancer. If you know someone who's, I'm not sure, Cancer, if it's like feeling protected, or if you know someone who you think might resonate with this, you know, maybe I don't need to look too hard in that, Cancer. You know who this would fit with, or if they get something from it. Yeah, share this, Cancer. And then subscribe there, you son. Hit that bell button to get notified of all these videos each day. And then last little bit, if you want to know about what's going on in the celestial weather there, Cancer, or if you're curious about, I'm doing more kind of like little random chart examples and things. I'm actually talking with some people, they don't mind me sharing their charts, and I'm going to go over just like how to look at different chart examples. I'll probably do one for each zodiac sign or something along those lines. So that's something, you know, while we're in Cancer season, if you're wanting to get like a little mini solar return chart reading, if you don't mind your chart being on a video, I would, and of course, like, I'll block out any kind of like sensitive information or anything that you feel like you need to. But if that's something that you want to go over, I would love that. And you know what, even if you don't want to have that posted, you know, even if you're just wanting to do just like a react, that'd be kind of a nice little thing. So, but come over to my other channel, Alchemist Gate. I do weekly videos there talking about the celestial weather that's going on there, Cancer. And then I'm releasing this thing right now. They're little videos. I'm just kind of releasing them whenever I make some time. And it's about different planets and points in different zodiac signs and houses, and I have it all labeled, and it's called the Soul Tribe Archive. And the whole purpose is, as it builds, and if you happen to have those placements or know some of those placements, it's not just meant for me to just put out some information there for us to add, for all of us to kind of add to that. Talk about your experience with that placement, how it's been aspected to certain things, how that's manifested, and kind of help people create, you know, just kind of create this vault for people to kind of come back to, and just like, oh my gosh, like, okay, now I understand why I do this because of this placement and blah, blah, blah. So it could be a whole fantastic thing. So that's my hope with that. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Cancer, so I can get you out of here. You got the King of Swords here, Cancer. And you know, Cancer, I don't know if you can hear that siren going by, but I remember someone had made a comment not too long ago, especially when I was living by in Chicago. I was living by this busy intersection, and they're saying that sirens are a sign of protection, and or that there's like angels or something around this something along those lines. But look into that, Cancer. I might be making that up, but for the sake of the story, I feel like this King of Swords is this wisdom, this understanding of something. Like, maybe we've been, again, it's like maybe you haven't been making a move because you were protecting yourself from failing, possibly, or maybe you've just haven't been allowing yourself to feel safe. Maybe there's been a lot of this kind of tension. But I feel this King of Swords is also, if you're, I feel that the answers that you're needing to get to is like to what you need are there, and this might be something to where we need to look for some counsel, possibly even with the King of Swords. Let me get your other oracle card here, Cancer. I think the sword is staring at me hard. Let me get some. Yeah, let me get your other oracle card on this. All right, let's see what's going on here. Ooh, interesting, Cancer. And we're coming up on a water new moon. Got the well. This one's the new moon in Scorpio, and this is a card of go deeper, Cancer. And I feel like there's this going deeper to understand something. With Scorpio, where that energy is there to alchemize, to take those kind of deep emotions and transmute them into strengths, to understand that whatever may have happened doesn't take away anything from you, that it wasn't meant to disempower you, that it wasn't meant to there's a deeper meaning behind that. You know, it wasn't just this sort of like stroke of bad luck or anything along those lines. That's what I'm really kind of getting with that. It's whatever this is, Cancer, feels like real personal. It's something you can maybe this is something that we may have to talk with someone, possibly a friend, someone we see with a lot of wisdom, maybe a therapist, maybe a counselor, a life coach, a whatever that's looking like. Wherever you can find that sense of counsel, that wise, grounded, an energy that'll trust, that'll tell you the truth. You know, that's what I feel with both the Scorpio and the King of Swords here. And if we're having troubles with the truth, really kind of like as it makes sense. Allow yourself to kind of open as things come up. I feel things come up when we're ready to face something. But let me leave that there, Cancer. Stay mindful out there, Cancer. Stay present. Stay grounded. All the stimuli going on here, Cancer. Stay aware of that. Keep eyes on the sky there, Cancer. Keep eyes on the moon, the planets. I want to say there's something that was going on. I think there was like a whole big planetary thing, but it was happening at like 5 a.m. That may be something further down the line. But just keep eyes on the sky there, Cancer. It's astrology and the tarot. It's all cool to kind of be in this, but we can forget to just look up at the vast sky that's above us, the wonder that is that, and yeah, just tune into the energies, Cancer, and I will catch you on the next one. When am I going to catch you? Mars Day. Oh, that's a busy one.